Hello, beautiful people. I am here. I am Golden Duffy. This is Live Life Golden, the podcast about creating your own reality. Today, we are going into emotions. How do we use our emotions to create? Seems like a strange concept, doesn't it? I think oftentimes we think that our emotions, like when people say, I'm being very emotional, it's a bad thing. And there's a lot of society programmings and things that we have grown up with that have made us feel a certain way about certain emotions. So in order for us to really gain control over our emotions, we need to understand what they're there for. And we need to have an acceptance of our emotional field, all of them, the ones that we deem negative and the ones that we deem positive. It is not possible in this human experience to be in positive emotion all the time. It's not even really a good thing for manifesting to be in positive emotion all the time because you won't have a lot of desire. You won't have a lot of energy towards your desires if things are always going your way. We don't actually create expansion and understanding who we really are as people, as beings, as energy until we have contrast, until we have challenges, and until we have some negative emotion that actually gives us a window into the way we're feeling about what we're creating, the way we're feeling about what is happening outside of us, the way that we know what's going on in our experience and how our emotions are creating is by looking at our life, by looking at what's happened so far. That's how we know, it's not what we say, it's what we feel that we're actually creating from. That's why positive affirmations won't necessarily work unless you have some sort of feeling underneath it. And the reason for that is because emotions are energy in motion. So they actually put energy in motion. That's why they say there's a lot of action in anger, because when people are angry, when they're fired up, they will actually take action. They will do something because there's so much energy in them. They have to move. They have to do something. They have to they have to create change. That's a lot of times why anger could actually be a good thing. And I'm going to help you to see that all of your emotions are actually a good thing today so that you stop being in resistance to them. And you stop believing that your depression or your angst or your, anything that's going on in your experience is something that needs to be fought, that needs to be resisted. All right. So when it comes to the emotional field, I'm going to dive first into negative emotion and how to process negative emotions and what to do when you're actually feeling that. So when something happens in your life experience and it creates a trigger, it creates a feeling within you of the negative, nature, anger, resentment, frustration, any of those on that side of the scale. The reason for that trigger is because you have something that is unhealed underneath. And I know we've been through this before, but I want to get deeper today so that you really understand the nature of emotions and what you can do to gain some control over them, because there is an addiction. There is an addiction to emotions. I know we've touched on that as well, but this is going to be a little bit different of a conversation because we're going to go into the emotional field as a whole. So when you're feeling the negative emotions, when you're feeling triggered, the best thing that you can do is pull away from the experience. Just pull away from the experience if you can. Get out of it as fast as you can, because if you come from that triggered state, you're going to create a whole bunch of activation around it, a whole bunch of frequency around it, and you're going to create momentum around it that's a little bit harder to get out of. And it also gives us a lot of reasons to beat ourselves up, right? Like when we go into rage and we fight with people and we get angry with people, we tend to beat ourselves up afterwards and feel bad about what we said and feel guilt, like a whole bunch of things, right? A whole bunch of negative emotions are actually activated through that experience. So if you can draw away from it, you will not create so much of it. So that would be the first thing, is just get out of there as soon as you can. There's people in our lives, there's relationships in our lives, and there's people that like to engage. They like to engage. They like to fight. It gives them purpose. It gives them an identity, especially if they have had a lot of that growing up. It makes them feel like they matter. So the people in your life might not be as accepting of you retreating when you want to retreat, but if you can at another time, we say that's not a teaching time. That's not a time to go into explanation when everybody's fired up. At another time, if you can explain why you need time to process, why you need to go and retreat and process your feelings so that it can be a more productive conversation, your relationship could take on a whole new, it could up level in a whole new way. Because, getting into those low vibrational things with each other where you're just blaming and just creating a whole bunch of yucky energy that you actually have to recover from is not a good idea. So if you can retreat from the situation, take time before you call somebody back, all of that stuff, you're going to be much better off because you're going to be able to align yourself more with your healing, with where you really want to come from instead of from this wounded place and this place of lack. So when you have a trigger, the best thing you can do is retreat, go into a quiet space. You may not be able to necessarily meditate, especially if it's something that's supercharged. When we're supercharged, do you ever feel like when you get into like a fight with somebody that your thoughts are thinking you? And you can't stop thinking about it and you keep running it over in your head and you just keep like beating the crap out of it and you keep thinking about it and it literally feels like it's eating you alive. Well, the reason for that is because of frequency, right? So we tuned into a certain station. Momentum is another reason. Like we've had a lot of energy in this matter going towards this thing. So we've had a lot of thoughts, we've had a lot of beliefs and judgments about this person leading up to this particular experience where we feel super triggered. So meditation may not be the best thing for you. If you're feeling like a lot of anger, if you're feeling a lot of energy, movement is a great idea. Physical movement, go for a walk, go for a run, exercise, do some kind of like really intense physical exercise because remember, you've got energy in motion. So if you can move your body, you can help to start to release some of that. Once you feel like you've gotten a little bit of a handle on it, then you can sit down and be quiet and start asking yourself some questions. Journaling is another really great way to get energy in motion, to start moving things out of your body, because writing is the strongest form of focus. And it's like, they call it dumping. So when you just like write down everything you feel better because you're dumping and you don't need to give it to the person. You can throw it in the garbage and never show anybody again. But it's just getting your feelings out. So once you can go into meditation, then it's asking these really important questions, which is, why do I feel so angry? Like, what is underneath this anger? What is underneath this feeling of being triggered that is causing me to feel so much angst or whatever those feelings are? And then look for it in your body. Feel it in your body. Just ask yourself, like, where is it presenting in your body? It might be your shoulders are super tight. You might feel, a lot of times we feel it in our abdomens. Lower back stuff, especially if you've got like financial stuff, that's usually your lower back. So, or your heart, if you're feeling a lot of like feeling unloved or, you don't feel like forgiving someone, you're feeling resentment, a lot of that can be in the heart. So ask yourself where it is in the body and then ask your non-physical support to help you release it and just start breathing like really deep, start letting it go. And you're going to feel energy. You are going to feel energy. You're going to feel energy starting to move and you're going to start to feel a little bit lighter. And then it's just a matter of, working on that clean slate. If you can get to that place, because anytime we can do that, anytime we can get into zero state awareness and really clear our mind, we're actually going to change our frequency. So we get into a higher frequency. And when we're in that higher frequency, that's when our higher self can connect with us. That's when we can get those downloads of, oh, this is why I feel this way. This is why, I felt so triggered. This is what needs to be healed. And if you're in a state of where you still are feeling a lot of blame towards this person, or you're feeling like, you're picking this person apart and all the reasons they make you feel a certain way, you're not there yet. You're still in that victimhood mentality and you need to spend time going within to start to heal that, because nothing is ever about other people. It's always about us. If we feel a triggered emotion, that means we have something that needs to be healed. It doesn't have anything. The only thing that they're doing for us really is reflecting. That's what they're doing. They're reflecting how we really feel inside. So if you're in relationships with people, you're in vibration with them. And whatever you are connecting with them has something to do with you, always. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel anything. You'd be like, huh, that's their problem. I do it a lot with people. Like, oh, that's about them. That's not about me. The only thing that is about me is what I make about me. It's the judgment and the belief that I make about me. If you're always taking things really super personally, especially with like strangers and shit, I see people do this all the time, and they're taking stuff super personally because, you know, the employee at the grocery store was in a really bad mood and she just got yelled at by her boss, and she is in that vibration and she brings it to you. If you're in that vibration with her, you're going to give it right back to her. But if you're in a higher frequency range, you may be able to lift her out of it. You may be able to shift her out of it. You may be able to help her to feel better. So anytime we're doing that, like we're putting our stuff on other people, we're really doing ourselves a disservice. There's not a lot of expansion and growth and blame. There's not a lot of expansion and growth because you're just putting it on that other person and you're not taking any responsibility for your own vibrational alignment, your own vibrational connection to whatever those emotions were. Okay, so that's what happens when we get triggered, and those are the tools that you can use to get yourself moving, to get yourself, in a different vibration, in a different frequency. If you're feeling negative emotions such as like things that are not supercharged, like depression or boredom or powerlessness or any of those things that feel like apathy, they're like super low on the scale. Apathy, um, guilt is down there. Guilt is like super low. Guilt is one of the lowest vibrations that you can feel. There is no purpose for guilt whatsoever. Your mother may not want you to believe that, but it's the truth. Guilt was put in place to control us. Yeah. Because when we feel guilty, we're going to be controlled by that person who is not making us feel guilty, but who has activated that guilt within us. So get rid of the guilt. Guilt does not serve you in any way. If you're going to do something, do it unapologetically. That's my new thing. That's my husband's new thing. We are doing our lives unapologetically. We're living our lives, we're loving our lives, and we're doing it from a place where we don't feel like we owe anyone anything. So when it comes to things like depression or apathy or boredom or just not feeling a super strong life force within you, those are really important and necessary times. They're very important and necessary. And I know this year probably has activated that in a lot of people. And the truth is, we don't know our capacity for joy until we know our capacity for sadness. So the sadness actually leads us to a stronger and bigger capacity for joy. I've talked to so many people. In fact, I have a really good friend who was in a severe depression for 2 years. And they call it, dark night of the soul. Maybe you've heard that before. And she was just couldn't even lift her head off the pillow. It was really, really bad. And she helped me through a time with my daughter when I was feeling really afraid. I was feeling very afraid for her well-being. And she explained to me the incredible stuff that came out of that dark night of the soul, that when it passed, it was like, it was like stepping into heaven. And her life is incredible. Like she is extremely wealthy and she is surrounded by loving family, and she's got she's the most loving and giving person, one of the most that I've ever met. And she has so much gift from that dark night of the soul. So if you're going through that, just know that there is a lot that your soul is going through, that you're expanding and growing through. And the way to help yourself is to journal. Okay? So just get those feelings out. Whatever it is, just get it out of your body. Do the release work, do the breathing. Ask yourself, like, what is the basis of this feeling? And do I need to feel it? And then start asking questions like, what would feel better to me today? What could I do that would make me feel a little bit better? We can't take big leaps when we're there. So it might be taking a shower. It might be getting dressed. It might be putting on some makeup. It might be doing your hair. whatever it is that can make you feel a little bit better, a little bit more alive, you will start to tune yourself out of the frequency of that depression. Okay? All right. So, and move your body. I really can't say this enough today. The amount of things that happen when you move your physical body, when you take this physical body and you respect it and you love it and you move it and you create some sort of we get these dopamine rushes and these serotonin rushes from cardiovascular exercise, and going out for a walk in nature is like so good. Get your feet on the ground, do some grounding. When my daughter was going through her stuff, we would go to a field and we would lay under this tree, and it was so transforming for both of us. So find some nature, go out, feel like, because the earth has a certain vibration, and it's the vibration of our well-being. So when you put your body on the earth, we don't do this very much, but when you put your feet in the sand, when you put your feet in the grass or the dirt, you actually up your frequency. You actually start to vibrate with the earth, which is well-being, which is abundance, which is all the beautiful things the earth has to offer. So that's another key thing. Nature will always help to realign you. So when you go out and you just hike or you just go for a walk and you feel the sun, that vitamin D, a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D, which creates a whole host of health problems and mental problems. So up your vitamin D, but also get a lot of vitamin D from the sun. I know they try to tell you that the sun is evil, but it is not. It is really, really, really good for you. 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day is life-changing. Your emotions are always an opportunity to heal. They're always calling you to heal. And any kind of contrast or challenge that you're going through is always an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to create. It's an opportunity to show yourself you're a creator. It's an opportunity for you to focus. It's an opportunity for you to expand and to grow your faith. We don't grow by everything always working out for us. We really don't. We grow in the contrast. We grow by showing ourselves how powerful we are through the things that could have made us powerless, that could have made us feel that powerlessness. Okay, so go within. The triggers actually create emotions. Okay, so these negative emotions, these triggers actually create a stronger energy field in you for your desire. So there is good stuff in there. There is benefit in there. So that's why I caution you not to beat yourself up when you're in these triggers, when you are feeling these really strong emotions. There is great desire in those, okay? And when you have these blow-ups with people, there's a strong desire for both of you to come back together, for this to be solved. So if you can get yourself out of that problem energy and get yourself into solution, which means you're clearing your field, you're going into zero state awareness, you're putting yourself in a different frequency, the solutions are right there. Boom, right there. When you can ask yourself in the midst of all this, when you take that time and you pull away from it all, asking yourself, and I can do this now even when there's like supercharged things starting to go on. And usually this can only work in the beginning, because if you're in the middle of something, there's usually too much momentum for you to have any kind of awareness. When you're in anger and anxiety and fear and stress, your wisdom channel kind of shuts down, gets a little staticky. So you can't hear solutions. You can't hear, your guidance. You're just kind of like flying from your emotional field. And so once you get into that quieter place, you can start asking yourself, do I want more of this? This emotion that I'm feeling, do I want more of this? Do I want to create more of this in my life? Or can I interrupt it? Can I focus elsewhere to tune myself into a different frequency? And it's better to do that after you've done some sort of release, because otherwise, the emotion's still there, it's still in your body, you're still going to vibrate with it. So it's better if you can do it after some sort of release. And my Facebook group, the M21 Revolution, I have a lot of emotional releases in there. If you just ask to join, it's a free group, and we're doing a donation-based challenge right now called the Up Level Challenge, which has been we're off and running to the races with this one. And in that group, if you just search emotional releases, we've got a ton of them in there that we've done over the course of the last 2 years. So you can pretty much find any emotional release that you need to release and just use that as a guide to help your body release whatever it is. And I do them. I'm not sure if Jess has any in there. She might, but the ones that I have done, I'm just able to move energy for people. So even on a recording, I believe you'll get great benefit from that. And then the last question we want to ask is, what can I release in this situation that no longer serves me? So we had a question actually in our M21 group this morning about fear. It wasn't a question. It was like a statement about, oh, a lot of fear came up for me today. And, I just sat with it. And I said, that's so awesome, because our fear will tell us a lot. But sitting with the fear is great, and allowing it to move through you is great. But understanding, like, what is this fear about, and why do I have it, and is it even necessary? I had this thing happen a while ago, and it was so ridiculous. When I was growing up, I was afraid of clowns, and one of the reasons I was afraid of clowns was from watching some stupid scary movie. And like like in my 30s, we went to this thing and there was clowns, and I was like, oh, I'm afraid of clowns. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, that's ridiculous. My 5-year-old self was afraid of clowns, but my 35-year-old self is like, knows that's a person and he's hilarious. And it was kind of ridiculous. So what you're going to find with this work is that you're going to see these fears, you're going to connect with these, and you're going to go, that was a survival technique that I used when I was little. That fear is from my 5-year-old self. That fear is from when I, needed to conduct from that place where I was protecting myself, and it's no longer true in my adult life. So get in touch with those fears, because they are really going to tell you a lot about where to go next. All right. So in our emotional field, then let's go to the higher emotions, the appreciation and love and joy are like the top of the charts, right? And when you feel this way, you feel frisky, you feel fun, you feel like joking around. I personally feel very dancey. You can ask all my gym friends. I pretty much dance through my whole workout because I just feel this energy moving. I feel this excitement for the day. That's the way I walk into I really work and focus on walking into every day that way. I've got a really strong intention right now to wake up in that vibration of excitement, and I have no idea what's going to happen today, and I know it's going to be a good one, and miracles are all around me, and I believe and I trust. And it feels so good to bring that energy to the gym and share it with other people and just be in this high vibrational state, instead of like, I'm tired and I'm complaining. And I still complain, but I have fun with my complaining. I won't say I don't complain, because people will call me out on that shit. But I just I don't try. I do it. I have fun. I have fun. Most times I'm having fun, and I'm lighthearted, and I love joking around, and I love people that can just riff with me that way. And I do that pretty much everywhere I go, bringing this lightheartedness, because that, I feel, is what is going to shift our world. Just being in a place of love and joy and appreciation is going to show other people that right now it's totally possible, that we can leave all the fear, we can leave all the sickness, we can leave all the crap in the news and the politics, we can leave it all. We don't need to pick it up every single day and carry it around like it's this big, heavy ass bag. We can leave it. I don't have to think about that right now. That's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite tools is to say, if I pick up on a thought pattern that doesn't feel good, I can go, I don't have to think about that right now, because I know if I'm not feeling good about it, I'm not in the solution. I'm not in the solution. I'm in the problem. And if I'm in the problem and I activate a bunch of momentum and frequency in the problem, I know the solution can't come to me. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to put it to the side. I'm going to trust that it's going to work out. And I'm going to pick up on a thought pattern that makes me feel good, that makes me feel better. Or I'm going to turn on some music. I had a really amazing dance party with my granddaughter in my driveway yesterday, and talk about feeling joy. We were feeling so much joy, and she was laughing, and it was such a moment that I'm still feeling today. I can still pick up on it today. I can still reflect on it and go, oh, that was so good. That was so good. And I created that, because I have the ability to do that. And so do you. So when it comes to your emotional field, understand that we have addiction to emotions. And the reason why we have addiction to emotions is because we have hormones and things that are dumped from those emotions. We have, releases of these hormones in our bodies that we identify with, right? So as we were growing up, we had certain emotions that kind of became ours. I'm an emotional person. It's just who I am, right? I'm sad. It's just who I am. I see people do this all the time. I have, I battle with depression. Do you? Why? Why do you battle with depression? Embrace it. Work with it, you know? Accept it and then work through it. Like find a way. When we battle with depression and when we battle with our emotions, we're in resistance to them and we're not going to find the solution. So in order for us to really understand the emotional field and gain control of it and use our emotions to create, we've got to connect with that addiction and start asking ourselves, okay, is this emotion about a trigger? Is this something that needs to be healed? Or am I just feeling this emotion because it's something that I've always done? I've definitely done this with my children in feeling like resentments, right? Like resentment because you stay at home mom for a really long time and then you're always doing for people and sometimes you're overdoing for people because you're parenting from your lack of what you got as a kid. Oh, so many of us do that. And my husband and I have both caught ourselves parenting from that lack, wanting our kids to always be happy. And when you do that, you actually take away their power to create because you're always trying to fix their problems. And if you're always trying to fix their problems, then they can't become their own deliberate creators because they're just giving it to you. They're making it your responsibility. And as our kids get older, our youngest is 17. We have a 19-year-old, a 27-year-old, and a 28-year-old. As they get older, we've given them the independence. We've given them the tools. We've given them the ability to be creators, and we don't have to overgive. We don't have to empty ourselves out because that is not a good feeling in our family. It feels really good for everybody to be in their own power in our family. And we've really focused on that, and we're really doing a good job with it. I really believe that. And I believe if you ask every one of my kids, they would say, absolutely. I have proof. And I wrote a parenting book, Quantum Speak for Parents, on Amazon or livelifegolden.com. That is basically my 28-year journey of being a mom and doing it right and doing it wrong and figuring it out and expanding and growing in joy with every one of my kids. And they're fabulous. They're fantastic. They're wonderful. Okay, enough of that. So that emotional field, when you're feeling that addiction, if the answer to that question of why am I feeling this emotion is, it's a habit. It's just a habit. I don't feel a lot of like, I feel angst because you're going to feel the angst from these negative emotions, but I don't feel a lot of like trigger. Like I don't feel a real massive, because this is how you know that you're starting to heal too. When you no longer get triggered, you know that you've healed. When something no longer makes you cry, you've healed. So going within, asking yourself these questions, and if the answer is yeah, you've got an addiction going on, then it's just moving away from it. It's just interrupting it. It's interrupting it. It's interrupting it. It's interrupting it. And I have cautioned people about doing this too much in the beginning, because if you are still feeling super triggered, if you're just distracting yourself from it, you're still going to vibrate with it. So you got to do the work first. The work comes first. Absolutely. But there is not 8 million trillion layers that you need to work through to heal. There is not. Once you know what it is, you can go within, you can release it, and you can heal from it very quickly. That's what quantum leaping is all about. It is no longer sitting in your shit. It's making a decision around your healing process, and it's going within, allowing yourself to feel these things, getting to that foundation, and then moving forward by interrupting all the thoughts that go against what you are looking to create. The last thing I want to address is worthiness. And this goes along with your emotional field because anything that makes you feel powerless or low self-esteem or low self-confidence or like I don't deserve it or bypassing your own desires for other people. Yeah, that's a big one. I see that one pretty often with people where they're conceding to other people all the time and they're not really living their life for themselves. And I think we've talked about that before, that you will be a very empty vessel and you won't really have a lot to you won't have a lot left for yourself and to actually manifest your own desires if you're always trying to make everybody else happy. If you're always trying to fill yourself up by other people's praise and acceptance and love, you cannot give enough. You cannot give enough. And especially with certain people in this world that are just takers, you will never be able to give them enough and you will come up short. So when it comes to unworthiness, it's going the meditation practice is key if you want to begin to heal this, if you want to begin to uncover your worthiness, because it's in there. Even you can feel unworthy. You could have had the worst parents in the world, you could have had the worst teachers in the world, you could have had people tell you that you're a total piece of crap, and you can go within and heal it all, and you can find the true worthiness of your being, because you are worthy. You are worthy just for being. We put ourselves in a very interesting place as far as believing, like what society tells us as success is complete bullshit, right? We put these people on a pedestal, and a lot of them aren't even good people. They haven't even really done good things, right? They've entertained us, maybe. I'll just take that as an example. In order for us to get connected with the true worthiness of our being, we have to take all of the outside attention away from it. And we have to take out the doing, right? All the doing. It's like if I don't do, and this has happened to me a lot in my life because I was a stay-at-home mom for so long and I felt so lost in myself. I didn't know who I was and I didn't feel the worth of what I was doing. I do now. I definitely do now. I see making muffins as one of the worthiest things I can do right now. Truly. I see doing laundry and taking care of my family as an incredible purpose. And I love that I can do this and feel connected to a lot of different people. That also makes me feel extreme worthiness, because I know I've got this voice and I know I have this wisdom coming through me. So to be able to share that is part of feeling worthy, but I don't have to do any of it to feel worthy anymore. But I will catch myself. I will definitely catch myself when I'm not creating, feeling that unworthiness. And then it's going within, meditating, and really connecting with that expression of source, with that connection of the universe and God, and that non-physical connection that we always have, that we forget we have, and going back in and feeling that vibration, feeling that unconditional love. Ooh, that is so cool. Actually, we'll call some of that in a second, because I'm getting called to it. So where are you feeling that lack of worthiness? If you look outside of your life, you can see where that unworthiness shows up. It's, in your health, your struggle for health, because our natural state of being is health. Your struggles for money, are you always struggling for money? If you're struggling for money, then there's a lack in your experience that you are worthy of abundance, that you are worthy of great things. There is so much money, there's so much abundance all around us. We see it all over the place, but for some reason, you may be separating yourself from that and saying, I'm not good enough for that. I have never been able to do that before. And the truth is, it's only because of the way you've been thinking up until now that you've created that feeling of lack for yourself. Not feeling good enough, those are things that not being enough. Those are all things that, probably have come from your childhood or have come from, different things that have transpired in your life that, you thought you were going to be something by this age and you're not. Age does not matter. It does not matter. There's so many stories of people. One of my favorite is Louise Hay. She's was just this amazing woman. If you've ever looked at her story, she created Hay House Books. And, at the age of 59, she was bouncing checks. And then at 60, she created this Hay House Books and she did incredible things. She was very instrumental in healing people that had AIDS, as far as like healing that emotional field and healing a lot of things. If you look her up, she's got I can't remember that heal. It's something about healing. Just look up Louise Hay healing. You'll see the book. I Can Heal Myself or something. She had this really cool little movie that I loved watching, and then she has a book. And if you look up different things, like different things that you're experiencing, like rashes or problems with your knees or problems with your head, there's a spiritual reason and she'll show you what it is. And so she, at that age, 60, and she died just a few years ago, and she created a multi-million dollar experience, at age 60. So there's a lot of things like that. There's a lot of inventors, there's a lot of people that, later in life just like got it and it was quick and it was like a quantum leap, but their life experience had been calling them to it, and then they finally stepped into their true worthiness. So where are you coming up short? Where are you keeping yourself small because you're not standing in your true power, you're not standing in your true worthiness? And that's a journey to go within and ask yourself those questions and see if you can start doing things that really connect with your worthiness. Your outside world will show you, your activities will show you. Are you overweight? Are you not exercising? Are you not eating right? Are you putting junk in your body? Like, all those things are telling yourself you're not worth it. And also, heavy foods, heavy activities, heavy things like that, heavy, when you put heavy energy into your fields, like the news, like really negative programs on TV, when you put that stuff into your experience, then you're going to be attracted to heavier frequencies, which is, weight, putting on weight in your body. So a lot of obesity and a lot of not being healthy in our physical bodies is because we've taken on too much heavy energy and we're not moving it. We're just stuck in it. So meditation is the key to that. What are you doing as far as like self-love goes? So the way that I equate self-love is, what am I putting in my field? What am I allowing in my field? Who are the people I'm allowing in my field? Am I allowing a lot of complainers? Am I allowing a lot of energy suckers? Because that is self-love. That's self-respect. That's respecting yourself. Do I always put other people first, or do I put myself first? That's self-love. All that good stuff you can do, like taking a bath or stretching. I always say stretching is self-love. My gym partners are tired of hearing me say it, but stretching is self-love because stretching keeps me from hurting myself. And I know that stretching is so good for my body. And I know that it creates so much flexibility and helps me to feel so in tuned with my body. You can do yoga. Meditation is an act of self-love because you're going to connect with that unconditional love inside of you. What can you do that can tell yourself, that can show on the outside that you truly love yourself? Are there certain relationships or certain activities that you need to let go of? Are you saying yes a lot when you should be saying no? That's an act of self-love. What I like to say to people when they ask me if I want to do something or if I can do something, I say, let me just meditate. Let me just get back to you on that. We don't have to answer people right away, first of all, because if we're going to answer people right away, we're probably going to say yes, because we come from that conditional thing, that condition that we've got to please other people. So we got to go within, we got to meditate. We got to say, you know what? Do I really want to do this? I always say, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. That's really good in everything you're trying to decide. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no, because if you're having reservations about something, if you're not feeling something, if you're not feeling like doing something, there's a reason for that. So you can go within and get your answers there. That is an act of self-love, just taking the time to find out if it's really right for you. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, just really pay attention to what you're allowing into your field, the people, the conversations. There's been a lot of relationships that I've had, and I've paid attention to the energy. Oh, this is good. This is really good. I'm going to end with this. I've paid attention to the energy and how I feel after being with someone or talking with someone. And if there is a consistency of me not feeling good after each connection with this person, I will start to detract my energy. I will start to move away from it. It's not that I'll break up with the person. I have ghosted people for sure. But I only do that, and I do it out of love, because I know spiritually, and you can call bullshit on this if you want to, it's okay, but I know spiritually when it's over, and I know that any conversation will just cause harm to either me or that person. So I just detract my energy, and that feels right to me. And people can judge me all day long for it, doesn't matter, because it's my spirit, it's my answers that I got within, and it's what I feel inspired to do. And who knows what's going on the other side, because a lot of times people attract what we do. So a lot of times what we do and how we react to people is because of what they have going on and what they need to be healed. So who am I to mess with that, right? So I was talking to somebody today, and I want to just get into this briefly because it was such a cool conversation. And when I was just talking about that last part about energy, become a good reader of energy. So, in order to become a good reader of energy, we have to become aware, right? Like, we have to become aware of our surroundings. We have to become aware of what we're putting out, how we're feeling, right? Like that emotional field, what's going on within. And then what we're getting back will always tell us like what we're actually vibrating at, what we're actually feeling. Once we get good at that, when we have contrast happen, we have strong desire, right? So we have these challenges, we have these things, and then we have decisions that need to be made. And if we just sit, if we just get really strong in what we want, write it down. I say this all the time, people. Write it down. Writing is the strongest form of focus. So write down what you want. Activate those feelings. So as you're writing it down, feel it. Feel the relief. Feel the energy of creating. Feel all of that cool creation power. And then it's taking a step back, and it's watching where the energy goes next, because the energy will always tell you what's coming next. And when you see what happens next, it's like the breadcrumbs. You're going to be picking up breadcrumbs. You're going to know which direction to go in, and the energy will start to flow. If things feel very hard and you feel like you're coming up against it and you're trying really hard, you need to back off. And once you back off, then the universe can come in as your co-creative partner and start to act with you. And then you can start to follow the lead of ease and flow. It's always the path of least resistance, people. I know we weren't taught that, but when you follow the path of least resistance, that's where the energy flows, and that's where the blessings are, and that's where the miracles are, and that's where your energy of feeling good in the frequency of connecting with all that is. Awesome. God, I love that. Just watch where the energy goes. We don't ever have to be in this confused state. Ever. We don't ever have to feel this confusion again. We can sit, we can clear our fields, and we can look and watch and activate what we want. And then move, and then act when we see the energy flowing and start to go in that direction. I have a million examples for that. I'm not going to bore you with that right now, but maybe later on I'll share some of the watching the energy flow and understanding that when it's flowing, it's the right direction to go. And that's why we can't make a mistake, and it doesn't matter if mistakes are actually a really great thing, but we can't make a mistake when we're following the energy. when we're watching and we're readers of energy, when we look and we watch and we understand, that we will get tips, that we will get, clues to what our next step is. All right, awesome. I'm just going to do a brief little meditation, and we're just going to bring in some good energy, some good juju. Okay, so just close your eyes. Hopefully you're not driving. If you are, pull over or save this for later, but take a nice deep breath. And as you're breathing in, I just want you to release all tension, all activated energy, all the energy of disease, dis-ease, all the energy of just feeling disconnected, or any energy that is feeling stuck or powerless, or just keep releasing that. Yeah. Feel your body getting lighter. And I'm just feeling like we need to open up our fields. So just open up the crown of your head and allow this beautiful, warm, golden light to wash over the top of your head, all the way about 3 to 4 feet, all the way around your body, almost like you're in a spotlight. Feel all that light coming into the top of your head, just activating relaxation, well-being, a feeling of wellness, a feeling of everything is working out for me. And just let that light come wash over your shoulders, releasing all that responsibility and that heavy baggage. Coming into your heart, activating your unconditional love, forgiveness, goodness, joy, appreciation. And then bring that light down your abdomen, and let's just activate our worthiness. So just pump lots of beautiful light into that center of your body, activating the knowing of who you are, the knowing that you are a powerful creator that was brought here to create. And then bringing that energy down into your root, just connecting you to universal support. And bringing that energy all the way down into your legs, all the way down into your feet. And just feel that warm, fuzzy energy all around you, just like a blanket of worthiness. Let's just wrap ourselves in a warm blanket of worthiness. Knowing that this moment is perfect, that we are in the perfect moment for our expansion and growth, that there is nothing we are lacking, that we are living in a great and wonderful time of abundance, of knowing who we truly are, of knowing how to create. And just beaming that light out into the world, imagining there's this net of light over our earth, over our families, over our friends and loved ones, and that we are all connected by this beautiful light that is the expression of all that is, the expression of Source, Universe, God, the expression of the truest and deepest connection to our well-being, bringing us back into full alignment with who we are and with who we came here to be. And just take a couple of deep breaths and let that integrate into your field, feeling the up level, feeling all of your cells just getting this sparkly, up-leveled energy, allowing you to feel lighter, freer, sillier, more fantastic, more energy, more life force, and a stronger connection to your desires and dreams being realized. That was good. And my computer's still on. Yesterday, I opened my eyes after an hour and my computer was not on. So today is a great day. So you're actually going to hear this podcast opposed to the rehearsal that I had yesterday. But this one was better, of course, right? All right, I love you all. I'm really, really excited to just have this forum to speak from. Please let me know if you have questions. You can find me on Facebook at Live Life Goldyn. No, that's on Instagram. Live Life Goldyn is on Instagram. My Facebook group is Live Life Goldyn. If you want to see my inspired post, M21 Revolution is the group where you will create some up-leveling in your life. And I'm just regular old Goldyn Duffy on, on Facebook. But I love you all, and I'm excited that you're here, and let's expand and grow together. Peace.